Yes.
Well, everybody, welcome to Tuckahoe Library.
Yay!
All right,
All right, well, as Miss Sue said, my name is Mr. Chris, and we've got a special program for you today, Henrico History Time Travelers. Before I get to that, though, I wanted to ask you guys a question. What happened on this day 400 years ago? Does anybody know? Do you know? You don't know?
I do.
Do you know?
William Shakespeare died.
That's right, William Shakespeare died, and you're asking yourself, well, why are we celebrating his death date? Don't you normally celebrate people's birthdays? Wouldn't that be more something normal? And the reason we don't celebrate his birthday is because we don't really know the exact day he was born. And in fact, now if you go to the next slide, we don't even really know what he looked like. This is a picture of him. This is an etching, but this was made 7 years after he died by a guy who'd never even laid eyes on him before. So we don't even really know what William Shakespeare really looked like. Does anybody know anything about William Shakespeare at all? Anything? Like what he did? No? Did he make music? No? Did he, do you know what he did? He close. He didn't make movies. He made, do you know what he did?
He made plays.
He made plays, right. And this was over 400 years ago in Elizabethan England. So why is William Shakespeare so important? Oh, there he is, yeah, with the crazy eyes. He's important because, on the next slide, he's a master of the English language. So if some of the language that he used, we still use it today. Like, so if you use the word moonbeam, he created that word. Or cold-blooded, or hot-blooded, or even the word excellent. That word was first used in his plays. And even some of the phrases that we use today, like if you've ever eaten your parents out of house and home, that was a phrase that William Shakespeare made up. If you've ever waited on something with bated breath, if something has ever been cold comfort for you, these are all phrases that William Shakespeare made. And he made lots of cool plays, including probably the most famous play that he ever wrote was a play called Hamlet, yeah, starring a young Mel Gibson. So, does anybody know anything about Hamlet at all? Well, it was about a young man who was the Prince of Denmark, and his uncle kills his father for the crown, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we might talk about that a little bit later. But now we're going to talk about going back in time to meet William Shakespeare. So, you're asking yourself, Mr. Chris, how are we going to go back in time? Because, I mean, you're just a librarian, right? You guys believe that? No, I'm not only just a librarian, but I'm also a time-traveling mad scientist. You say, Mr. Chris, you don't look like a time-traveling mad scientist. So what do I need if I'm going to travel back in time? What does a mad scientist need? What do you think? Any ideas? What does a mad scientist need? A crazy hairdo. All right. Is that good? Like that? What does scientists wear? Like
A lab coat.
a lab coat. Okay, let's see if I have. Look at this. Yeah, a lab coat. Okay, good. So crazy hairdo, check. I've always got that. Lab coat, and this will protect me from any chemical spills or electrical burns, things like that. So there we go. What else might I need? Any other ideas? You can just shout them out.
A wig.
Well, wig. Oh, I like a wig. Yeah, that's good. What do you think? Goggles. Ooh, whoa, goggles. Because you never know. I could get something in my eye. I mean, time travel is really dangerous, right? So I want to definitely protect my eyes. Scientists, whenever they're doing experiments, you want to protect your eyes, yeah. Oh, you know what? When I travel back through time, you guys are going to be able to see me up on the screen right here. I want to be able to communicate with you. So what I'm going to do is I want a little...
A walkie-talkie?
Yeah, kind of like maybe like a little earpiece, right? So I'll be able to communicate with you guys, and I'll be able to hear what you say to me, and vice versa. And finally, there's another thing I need. Time travel, you have to use certain sophisticated machinery, and I want to be able to communicate with that machinery. So there's one more thing I need. I need something like this, something very sophisticated. What do you think of that, yeah? Like a keyboard on my hand, and that way I can communicate with the last thing that I need. Can anybody guess what that last thing is? What does Mr. Chris need to travel back through time? He's got the lab coat, I've got my eyepiece. What do you think?
A black hole.
Oh, I like that. But I don't have one of those on hand. What else might I need? What do you think? Perfect. Thank you. That is a great idea. And that is why I would like to now introduce to you one of the most sophisticated, complicated pieces of technology to ever be created in human history. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes.
All right, I would like to introduce to you now the Time Machine 4000! Yay! Yay! thinking to yourself right now, Mr. Chris, it's just a refrigerator box spray painted black. And I say to you, no, it's not just that. It's more than that. It has some very complicated technology in there, like a flux capacitor. You gotta have one of those, right? Yeah. And it's all inside. And in the video, in just a minute, you're gonna be able to see me using some of that technology. Well, let's talk about where we're gonna go back to. We are gonna go back to the year 1609. That's not the year Shakespeare died. He died in 1616. And in the year 1609, there was a plague raging in, where's that? What is this place?
London.
London, England. Yeah, the plague was sweeping through London. So Shakespeare, who was writing plays in London at the time, had to leave London, and he had to go back to his hometown. Does anybody know what this is? Do you know in the back? You got your hand up?
Stratford.
That's right, Stratford upon the River Avon. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the time machine, and I'm going to go to the year 1609 to Stratford upon Avon, and I'm hoping I can meet William Shakespeare, convince him to come here, get in the time machine and come here to the library so you guys can ask him some questions. Does that sound good?
Yeah!
All right, are you guys ready to meet William Shakespeare? Everybody say yes! Yes! All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and get the time machine. You guys can watch me go back in time, and I hope nothing happens to me because time travel is incredibly dangerous. So everybody wish me luck. Say good luck, Mr. Chris.
Good luck, Mr. Chris.
All right, I'll see you in a few minutes. I hope. All right. Here we go.
Oh, I hope this works.
All right. Okay. I'm in the time machine. This is great. All I need to do now is just turn on some controls. I need to turn on the flux capacitor. There we go. And I just need to enter the date. April 23rd, 1609. Stratford, England. All right. All I have to do now is turn the time machine on, and we'll go see William Shakespeare. I can't wait. All right, here we go. I think I traveled back through time because I saw a lot of cool things. I saw World War II. I saw the Great Depression. I saw Thomas Edison inventing the light bulb. I was hanging out with Napoleon Bonaparte there for a second. And you know what? People are right. He really is kind of short. Well, anyway, I can't get distracted here because I'm on a mission. And my mission is to find William Shakespeare. And if my instruments are correct, which I think they are, it looks like I've landed in the year 16019. Let me just look around here. Yeah, it kind of does look like the year 1609. So all I need to do now is find William Shakespeare. I'm just going to grab somebody over here and see if maybe they can direct me towards William. Oh, there's a gentleman over here. Let me see if I can grab him. Excuse me, sir. Good sir.
Good day to you, sir. Nature hath proclaimed strange fellows in her time, and such garb, I must say, proclaims thee as rather strange as well.
Well, I'm not really sure what you're saying there, but I think you're saying I'm very strangely dressed, which if that is what you're saying, you're correct. But anyway, sir, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know a man by the name of William Shakespeare, and can you direct me towards him?
I am William of Stratford, son of John the glove maker, and the bailiff in these parts.
Well, did you just say that you're William Shakespeare?
I am called William of Shakespeare, William of Stratford, but I reside here at Stratford while the plague doth rage in London.
So you're telling me that you're the same William Shakespeare who writes plays in London, is that right?
As it was, I'm on my way to market with the lists, but also notes for a play I should have the Prince of Denmark, and I would have the father kill the uncle for the crown. I should like to call this play Cramlet.
Cramlet.
Whamlet.
Whamlet. I don't know if that's a great title, sir. Have you thought about the title Hamlet? Does that sound better to you?
Spamlet? I shall call it Spamlet.
All right, we'll call it whatever you want. I've got a question to ask you here, William. If you can walk over here in this direction, I just want to see, sir, if you can get inside this time machine.
A timepiece?
A time machine. I've got to get you back to the year 2016 to the public library so you can meet some kids.
A timepiece.
It's like a big timepiece, and if you just get inside, we can go to the public
A
library.
public house? Oh, I love a good time at a public house.
This is great. All right, I got William Shakespeare in the time machine. I'll just go ahead. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to get inside, and I'm going to come see you guys in just a minute. You guys can talk to William Shakespeare. I am so excited. I hope you are too. I'll see you in a second. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me get to the big show here. I want to introduce to you now the greatest playwright in the English, no, not just the greatest playwright, the greatest writer of the English, not of just the English language, the greatest writer of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you now the very eminent Mr. William Shakespeare! It's great to have you here.
Marry me? What place is this? What kind of place is this? Is this a public house?
Oh, can you guys tell William where he is?
Public
Public library.
library.
Yeah. Can you guys tell William what a public library is? Maybe they didn't have them in Elizabethan England. What do you get at a public library?
Public library is where you go to find books that you don't have them at home.
That's great.
And you can check them out. And you can find out movies.
Books and movies you can read and study. Yeah. It's like a moving picture. Anyway, don't worry about that. We'll get to that.
This is rather a motley crew, I must say.
Thank you.
Charmed and delightful, but as you see, I think you've gulled me. This is no public house.
Oh, no, it's a
And I've got plays to write. I've got to go to market for Anne, who hath a way of getting away if I don't do her bidding. So I needs must be on my way. I'm a handmaid, churlish slave. I must be to market for my dearest bride, and I must write plays. I shall see thee.
We appreciate you getting back to write some plays, Mr. Shakespeare. We just need you to have a seat right here. What is going on? Sue, what's going on?
I thought you said he talked to
what do we do?
He left.
What should we do? What should we do,
Should
guys?
I go get him?
Should I go get him?
Yeah!
You can stay right there.
Yeah.
Sue, you got this, Sue. I'm going to be right back. All right, be right back.
Okay. Wow, he just, I thought he'd stay. Talk a little bit. I guess he just, there goes Chris. Chris is, I don't know. I hope he finds him. Oh, I hope he finds him. Where do you think he went? He could get lost. Oh, there he is. Chris needs to go. Tell Chris where he is.
I went through the children's area. I thought he might be I'll be right back.
He doesn't know where he is, does he?
And I want you to speak to these children.
Addle-pated blue.
We just need to ask you some questions.
Be.
Folks, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Will you please just have a seat here? Just sit down. Will you please just chill out?
Chill. Hath one to come so early this fine spring.
It's not about, what does chill out mean?
Should I sit down?
Chillax, chillax.
Sit down. This is not that
Oh, I've got an idea. I've got an idea. Do you think he would like?
Yes.
Do you think he's ever had any of this?
No.
Is it ale?
It's not ale. That's different. I know it's brown, but it's this is something that we drink in the 21st century. If you just have a sip of that, you might like it, Mr. Shakespeare.
Delightful. Curiously refreshing and sweet as sunshine flowers.
Well, great. Well, why don't you hang on to it and have a seat, and you can have the rest of it.
If I agree to stay briefly and answer questions, then will you let me be about my way?
Yes.
And get to market and do my way?
Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, we certainly will, Mr. Shakespeare.
Very well.
Have a seat. We just want to ask you a couple questions. The kids can ask you some questions too. First thing we want to tell you is that you're actually in the new colony of Virginia, which is in the New World. So
I've heard.
yeah, so that's pretty neat. But we wanted to ask you, what about your clothes, Mr. Shakespeare? This is pretty neat, huh? What is he wearing?
The average sorts of clothes for a man of my station. Start with a hat, a flat hat, as people would oft wear of my stature, social standing and such.
Maybe something like this, Mr. Shakespeare?
Quill, something like that. I have a quill in case I need to jot down a few notes. I'm forever jotting notes. And let's see, shoes would be leather and wood. We wear stockings to show off our shapely legs. We're very vain about that, as it turns out.
Do you like Mr. Shakespeare's legs?
We enjoy puffy clothes as well. We gathered at the shin, gathered at the waist, and puffy pirate shirts. We love puffy pirate shirts, and gathered at the wrist and at the neck. And of course, a tunic or doublet. Now this one is dyed black, and the darker the dye, the more expensive often the dye. Therefore, often the darker the clothing, the richer the person wearing it.
Oh, okay, so you had a little bit of money there, Mr. Shakespeare, is that what you're saying?
A tad.
Okay. If you could speak, you told us a little bit about men, what men wore in those times. But what about what women might have worn?
A ladies of quality and high class wore rough light, good Queen Bess.
Oh, do you want to go to the next slide now? I think we've got Mr.
Yes,
Shakespeare.
Queen Elizabeth. Delightful. Delightful.
Does anybody recognize her?
Yeah.
You seen pictures of her before? It's Queen Elizabeth I, yeah. Yeah. Well, can you said ladies dressed like her? Is that right?
They did, and they often sweep their hair high, have high foreheads, and pluck their eyebrows to look like, and wear pale makeup to look like the Queen herself. Now,
I guess you had a little bit of makeup too, Mr. Shakespeare.
All the world's a stage.
Okay.
All men and women and children and groundlings its players, but as it was, perhaps leftover makeup from the theater, and often people wear makeup to hide scars from childhood diseases and such, and poxes. So people often wore makeup on a regular basis to hide stuff.
Well, I was wondering, you kind of mentioned that. What was it like living back in Elizabethan times? Was it fun? Were people just healthy and alive and vibrant, or what was it like? Was it, what do you guys think? You think it was fun to live 400 years ago? Are they right, Mr. Shakespeare?
One of my contemporaries, Thomas Hobbes, wrote a book called Leviathan. The quote you're all familiar with is, "Life is nasty, brutish, and short."
Oh, sounds terrible.
Well, we had the common joys of work and family, but more often we were set upon by numerous diseases. Oh, let me tell you of them. There were measles, rickets, scurvy, 2 types of smallpox, confluent and hemorrhagic. There was scrofula, dysentery, and 20 varying fluxes, fevers, tertian fever, quartian fever, ship's fever, quotidian fever, spotted fever, then of course frenzies and foul evils. Oh, and let us not forget the dreaded English sweat.
Oh, that sounds
We'll have you sick for your breakfast and dead for your dinner.
And dead by dinner. Oh, that sounds absolutely horrible. Did you guys have any questions for Mr. Shakespeare? Anything? You want to ask him anything? She had a question.
What kind of shoes did you wear back then?
Did you have anything about the shoes?
Leather, and
Yeah.
a cobbler would cobble your shoes, often cobbling a bit of leather to a heel of wood.
And I know men sometimes wore boots, didn't they? With the,
Yes.
Up to the knee, so probably more so than they do today. Does anybody else have a question? Did you have a question?
Yes, when did you
Well, let me tell you something. I was born in 1564, if that helps.
That's what I was going to ask.
And we wanted to say also, Mr. Shakespeare, that we're actually celebrating your death day today.
Well, that rather ruins the surprise.
Yeah, you're going to pass away on April 23rd, 1616.
Convenient to know these things.
Yeah, you can look forward to that. Anyway, maybe another question we can also talk about death. You have a question?
Did you have band-aids back then?
Do you know what band-aids are? Okay.
Wound coverings?
Yes, like bandages.
Oiled cloth? Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a question?
What kind of color you wear?
What kind of clothes?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see.
Wool, clothes made of sheep's wool and leather, and then often linen made of flax, which is a plant. And I gather flax does come from Virginia.
I'm actually not sure about that. So, yeah, sorry. Did you have a question about it? Yeah.
Did you have medicines for like some kinds of sicknesses?
Oh, boiled ointments and teas and tisanes and poultices and bleedings and cuttings.
Did you use leeches back then?
Leechings, yes.
It sounds absolutely horrid.
Oh, there's a neat trick for cleaning out a wound. Put some maggots in it and they will eat it.
Anyway, let's talk about something else. Can we take a last question and then we'll go to craft time? You guys can ask William. Do we have one more? Did you have one last question?
Did they go to doctors?
Oh, did you go to doctors?
As,
Or was it kind of same?
as good as they were,
Yeah, right.
there were doctors that they would, again, set bugs upon you and cut you and bleed you and wrap you up in boiling bandages.
And I think they looked at your humors, right? Isn't that right?
Yes, phlegmatic,
Yeah.
lethargic,
Yeah, those kind of things.
sanguine.
Well, sort of getting off the topic of illness and death. The next slide here, we've got a picture. If you look behind you,
The globe!
yes. So does that look like what it looks like back
The
then?
round globe,
Okay.
wooden egg, yes.
Has anybody seen a picture of the Globe Theater before? Okay, great. Yeah, this is where Shakespeare's, a lot of many of his plays were performed at the Globe Theater. Plays including, which one is this one? This is the Romeo and Juliet. You've written that, Mr. Shakespeare.
Yes, indeed.
Another important play that you did is Macbeth.
The Scottish play, yes.
And finally, perhaps to us, the most famous play that you ever did is...
Spam, yes, I do enjoy Spam.
And we were thinking you could call it Hamlet instead.
I prefer Spamlet, but that brings to mind,
Well, Mr. Shakespeare, we're going to kind of shift gears here, and we're going to get these kids up and moving around, because what we're going to do now is we're actually going to segue into a little bit of craft time, and we'll just kind of explain over here, Mr. Shakespeare, if you don't mind hanging out for a few minutes, is that okay? You can stay for a few minutes?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Excellent, great. And Sue, do you want to explain the crafts? Okay.
Time machine, so that we can visit with you.
Farewell. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
All right, everybody say goodbye, Mr. Shakespeare!
Come back again.
All right, good luck on your journey, sir.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, there you go.
Here he goes. Oh, no. I hope he gets back to the right time.
Swoons! So fair and foul a day I have not seen. Perhaps all that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. Boy, here's the list. Best aftermarket and half the way of nagging if I don't get her eggs.